Hey guys, I'm Jano Zero. How you doing? I hope all is well in YouTube land. Whatever part of the world that you are in. Okay, we are end of July, extremely hot outside, so we are doing some indoor activities, and one of those is one of my neighbors got this big bushel of beans at an extremely discounted price because they have, most of them have run their course, and a lot of the beans are starting to turn, and they were picked pretty late. So a lot of folks would figure that these were now ready to be discarded, but I disagree. What we are doing is we're taking some of the better looking ones, some of the ones that are still greenish color, and what I'm doing is I'm shelling them, which is just opening up the little pod that the beans are in and taking the beans themselves out, and then I'm saving these husks, these shells, and we'll feed them to pork chop and the chickens. So just find the inner seam and shell out your beans. Whenever the beans get to be this ripe, they pop open pretty quick. And what we're going to do is, these are pretty much a Great Northern bean. If you bought dried beans in the store, Great Northern beans, this is what you would have. Remember, a couple years back I did an experiment where we planted some of those dried dehydrated beans, and they grew half pole runners, which is what these are. So we're going to shell out a whole bunch of these, and since they're already moist, we don't need to soak them overnight. We're going to go ahead and make some ham and bean soup with these for dinner tomorrow night. We've got a ham bone in the freezer that we're going to pull out, and some ham scraps and stuff from probably Christmas ham, somewhere around in there, and go ahead and make them some soup. Like I said, since these are not dried, then we don't need to soak them overnight in water to get them to rehydrate, because they're already nice and hydrated. They're nice and squishy, and you can see them, they come right apart. So this is what we're doing. It'll take a little while, but you know what? We can sit in the air conditioning and do it. Since it's about 600 degrees outside, we're in the middle of a heat wave here, and get all of our beans out. And the ones that we can save and use, we will. If we have too many, meaning that we're going to have more than what we need for supper tomorrow night, then we will probably dehydrate them and bag them up ourselves and just have homemade Great Northern beans. So this is the first step. If you come across some beans that are for sale that have turned or discounted, or if you let them go a little long on your bean bushes or your bean vines, don't fret. You can still use the beans. Just shell them out and still use them up. That's what we're doing. You see, they shell right out, or you can just get them out into your bowl, and don't throw these away, because these can either go in a compost pile if you don't have animals. You can compost them, or you can feed them to your critters, which is what we're going to do. So right along the inside of the seam and pull your beans out. So once we get a mess of them done, then we'll go ahead and make up a pot of beans with these, and we'll do the old taste test and all that good stuff, and show you that not everything has to be bought from the store in a dried form. You can use these to your advantage and still make delicious stuff. So we'll see you guys when we get all this stuff done and we go to the next step. Okay guys, here's what we got for beans. Remember, this was about a little less than a half a bushel or so of beans that we shelled. These are fresh, so we don't need to soak them overnight. We're going to put in a little under a whole handful, maybe about a handful or so. These are some onions that we had that we dehydrated when we catch onions on sale. Dehydrate them and dry them out. And I cut up some chunks of smoked jowl meat. This is pork. Jowls would be from this part of the hog, and it's got a lot of fat and a lot of flavor in it. So this is going to add a lot of that good smoky flavor. We've got a ham bone. We've got some chunks of ham fat, and we've got a bunch of chunks of meat, ham meat, that we're not going to add yet. Then what we're going to do is we're going to fill it up with water until it is all covered up, and then we're going to put it in the crock pot, and it'll probably take 2 hours or so to cook. And when it's about a half an hour away from being done, then we will toss in our chunks of ham, regular ham meat. We'll just cut them into bite-sized chunks like this and toss them in there when it's about 30 minutes or so from being done. We've made ham and bean soup on video before, but we did it with dried beans, and where you got to soak them. And the point of this is we're just showing you that you can take fresh, less than desirable beans as far as making them as a green bean dinner, shell them out, and still make a good supper out of them. So I'm going to fill this up with water now to where it's covered, and we'll put it on medium on the crock pot for about 2 hours, and we'll see you guys when we get to the next step. Okay guys, here's the finished product. Our ham and bean soup, man alive, and of course you got to have a piece of cornbread made in a cast iron skillet to go along with it. So let's try the beans out here. It's going to be crazy hot, so. Man, don't get no better than that. Fresh beans. So there you have it. Just want to show you guys, if you find some beans that look less than desirable, this is one thing that you can do with them. Or you can shell them and dry them for future use. But it's been a while since I've had any good old ham and bean soup and cornbread, so we're going to dive in and get it done. And you guys, thanks for watching. Have a great day. Hope this helps. God bless. The end. Buzz, buzz. The end.